Hello everyone, my name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
Today we have another video from one of our favorite YouTubers, Mr. Ballin. Mr. B. Allen, John B. Allen, aka, John B. Allen.
His name's
Wait,
B.
yeah.
Allen. I mean, he acknowledged
And
that.
Mr. Ballin posted recently this video called Top 4 Bingeable Scary Stories. One of them, these are diving stories. One of them is one that we haven't covered on the channel. And I wanted to go over. I haven't seen this one, so we're going to take a look and see what's... I'm sure somebody died a horrific death. Which is typically the kind of stories that our viewers love. So let's take a look. Oh, Swiss cheese.
Situated an hour's drive from Johannesburg in South Africa lies Sterkfontein Cave. The cave is famous for the fossils that have been found there and also for its underground lake, whose walls look like Swiss cheese. There's all these tunnels that spider all over the place. Many of them are unexplored, and no one knows how deep the cave actually goes. In 1984, cave diver Peter Verhusel, along with two of his friends, decided they wanted to explore these passageways in the lake, and specifically they wanted to check out a chamber called Milner Hall, which was...
By the way, I just wanted to really quickly add a little piece of fun information here, which is it's surprising how many caves are out there that we don't know how deep they are. Like, a lot of people think that, well, how many caves are there that people haven't explored? Who knows? Like, thousands. Who knows?
It's so weird because what I thought you were going to say is, you know, Woody, you are as badass as B. Allen. See that? Did you get the hat, the way I turned it around? I thought maybe that's what you were going to say, but instead you're focusing on the depth of the cave. That's how sometimes we're not thinking the same thing.
Definitely not thinking the same thing. But what I was saying is there's 3 caves that I can think of in the United States alone that are highly explored, and we don't know the depth of them. One of them is in Texas, which I think is called Phantom Springs.
Okay.
No idea how deep it is. What I know is that it's the deepest explored cave in the United States. It was explored to like, I think 500 plus, maybe 600 feet. And they still haven't found the bottom.
Is Roaring River one?
Roaring River is another one that they haven't found the bottom, which was explored by Mike Young down to 472 feet. And still don't know how deep it is.
Yeah.
And the third one is Devil's Hole in Nevada, which also nobody has an idea how deep it is. That one was explored by Chick Exley down to like 400 plus feet, and he just keeps going. He says that it's still hundreds of feet going down. No idea how deep it is. Wow. And like that, there's many caves around the world. This one happens to be in South Africa, where we don't know how deep they go. Like we saw one recently. I think it was it Xavier Meniscus that went to like 900 feet deep, and he still keeps going. We covered Dr. Richard Harris, who went 840 feet, I think, in one, and he still keeps going. So, like, a lot of these caves are yet to be explored all the way. Like, you and I have been in caves where we get to EOL, or end of line, which is, this is the end of the cave. And it's always cool. For me, I love getting to the end of the line. Like, this is it. This is how far as the cave goes. But the vast majority of caves are still going. Nobody knows how far they go.
Really
which is kind of cool.
Even popular ones like Jenny Springs.
Yeah, Jenny Springs.
They don't know.
It's been explored to like 14,000 feet or something. Madison Blue, it's been explored to like 18,000 feet or something. It's like miles of caves, and it just keeps going. Just keeps going on and on and on. We don't know how long it goes. Devil's Hole in Nevada is a good example because there was an earthquake in Mexico, and the water in Devil's Hole in Nevada was like going up and down with the earthquake. So it's connected to Mexico. Like, we don't know how far these caves go.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Was fairly far down in the lake. There was a guideline that was anchored from the surface of the lake all the way down into the different sections that had been explored. And this was so cave divers could hold on to it and make their way through without getting lost. Not that I've ever been cave diving, but from what I've read, there is one golden rule. You never let go of the guideline.
That's not true.
Not
exactly right.
Never lose sight of the guideline.
Right.
I don't know about, you definitely don't have to hold it the whole time. Now, if you have a lights out drill, Mr. B. Allen, just so in case he's watching this, because I'm sure he follows us.
But
he's probably a fan. You definitely, if you have lights out, you lost your lights, your buddy lost his lights, whatever, you got to hold the guideline.
Yeah.
and not let go, because eventually you're going to bump into an arrow. We've covered this before, and the arrow is always pointing towards the exit.
I have an arrow right here. So this is what the arrow looks like. They will be on the line, and then you know where it's going. In this case, it's going that way. And
but he's saying the right spirit of the thing.
Right. But he said, there's a line all the way to the surface of the lake, so cave divers can grab it as they explore in. That's not entirely true. Typically, actually, the lines don't go all the way to the surface. And the reason for that is that you don't want non-cave divers to know that there's a line. Oh, let me follow it and see where it goes. Typically, the line starts in the cavern area, and we lay a line, which is called the primary line. We lay a primary line from the open water, meaning if you get to the end of your line, you can surface straight vertical and be in open water in the air. We lay a line from open water to connect to the cave line that is in there if it's an explored cave. So typically the line is out of sight. So open water divers don't see it and say, oh, let me follow it around. And in some caves, it's pretty far. Like a Peacock Springs is like, I don't know, like 60 meters to 200 feet or something like that. You have to know where it is. You have to go quite a while. And Peacock Springs is one of those where somebody's like, I'm going to lay the primary. And you're like, well, how long is it? Because this one is going to go for a while. So, yeah, some caves is pretty far from the entrance. And at Ginny, the line used to start at the Maple Leaf. Which is like 400 feet into the cave. And they brought it closer. But it used to be pretty deep before you can actually start with the cave.
Like I said, it's for the purpose of keeping people out of
there. So you keep an eye on the guideline. You don't attach yourself or hang on to the line. We're not line divers. We're cave divers. You know where the line is, but you're not on it.
And if you do, it better be extremely well planned, and you should do it with other divers present. Peter was a notorious risk taker and was the least experienced cave diver of the three. When they entered the lake, they were all holding the guideline, and Peter was the third back. And so they began descending down into the lake, and at some point, Peter's curiosity got the better of him, and he left the line to go look at the wall where there was, something he wanted to look at. And luckily, the other two divers noticed it, they saw him, and they swam over and got him and brought him back to the guideline. And even though you can't communicate underwater, I'm sure they looked at him like, come on, don't do that. And they kept going down, and then once again, Peter's curiosity gets the better of him. He leaves the guideline and goes over and checks something else out. The other two divers notice again, they turn around, they grab him, and they pull him back. And now they're looking at him like, you can't do this, no more. And so Peter's body language indicated that he got it, and he was back on the guideline. He's not going to do it again. And they continue down, and they're getting closer to Milner Hall when the first two turn around to check on Peter, and he's gone. And now previously, when they found him those other two times when he left the guideline, he was just over right against the wall, and he was easy to spot. But this time, he wasn't. They're looking around with their lights, and he's nowhere to be found. And they're not prepared to go leave into one of these tunnels to go looking for him because there was so many. It was like Swiss cheese down there with all these different tunnels he could have gone into.
Well, I'm not going to go through an entire lost buddy procedure, seriously, because this could take a while. I just want to say there is a lost buddy procedure, which involves using a line, tying off on a spot where you can go out and look and come back to that spot. So we actually have a skill for exactly what you're talking about. Let's see where he goes with this.
Well, hold on. Before you go, there's a couple things here. So number one is I've never done a dive on a 3-person team where one person is clearly skipping all safety rules and being unsafe.
I haven't either.
Never. I think that when it comes to cave diving, a team of 3 is optimal. That's like my favorite size team. I think a team of 2 is great, but a team of 3 is the best, in my opinion, for cave dives. If we were going in a dive and one of us is less experienced than the other two, I would probably sandwich them from the beginning, not just because they're being unsafe, but just so, hey, you have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience. This guy is new. Let's put him in the middle. To me, automatically, that's how I'm thinking. Now, it could be because in a cave diving team, the number one person, which is called the lineman, and the second person, they have a job to do, but it's a job that you learn during cave diving training. So the third person on the line, it's not like they didn't know what to do. You have to learn this stuff. Maybe the two of them would be like, okay, you can be in the back because the two of us are more experienced and we want to do this job properly. I don't know. But the point is, if you're starting a dive with someone who's least experienced, we typically sandwich them. And if it's a team of 4, they will be second or third. You're never going to put him in the back.
Yep.
Because the person in the back will also be the first person going out. So do you really want, on the way out, the least experienced person to be leading the team?
Yeah.
I don't think so, right? So you put him in the middle. So he also said, when you're on the water, you can't really communicate. You can with lights. We communicate with lights. We shake the light and get somebody's attention, and then you're like, come here, and then put him in the middle, right? If it was something where they're in the back but they're being unsafe,
Well,
just
not
put him in the
necessarily
middle.
with the angry thing that you did, but
Well, that's how I do it.
Well, that
And
is
it's effective. But the point is, there's a few things here that don't make a lot of sense from the perspective of a cave diver. One is, again, the most experienced people in the team should be first and last, unless you're practicing something. And also, if somebody's giving you an issue, just put him in the middle. Right. All right, now you are number 2, me 3, his number 1, or whatever. Yep. Like, you can communicate on the water, but like you said, we do learn a lost buddy procedure during cave diving training. You do it multiple times. Yep. The guy keeps getting lost. I think during my training, it was you kept getting lost, and I had to go back and find it. And once you find it, it's like, get your ass in the line and let's go.
And they didn't know which one he went in. And so after kind of waiting and looking around for a couple of minutes, thinking maybe he'll come back, they were running out of air and they had to go to the surface. So the 2 men surface, they call the police, they explain what happened. Rescue divers are sent to the cave to go looking for Peter, but by the time they even got there, it had been several hours. It takes a while to mount this type of search, and Peter only had 1 tank of air. And so if he hasn't surfaced by now, the thought is he's drowned at this point.
One tank?
The rescue divers go into the lake, they head down to the area where Peter was last seen, and they look around and they can't find him, and they surface pretty quickly. And they say, look, we're just not prepared to look through all these different tunnels he could have gone in just to find his body. Because at this point, there's no way he's alive. He's been down here for hours. He doesn't have enough air. And one of the rescue divers, is going to get trapped in one of these tunnels, and we don't want to lose anyone. So we're...
Okay, so I think we're closer to the end here of the story based on the timeline. But what I wanted to say is, here's something I learned from watching the video about Woody Jasper, who did a rescue in a cave in Florida. And I asked him this question. I said, look, you went into this cave and you somehow found the divers super quickly in a Swiss cheese type of thing where there are tunnels everywhere. How? Like, do you know where they went? Did you talk to one of the survivors? Because I don't know if you remember that story, but like 2 of them got spooked out and got out. And the other people in the group kept going into the cave. They weren't cave divers, certified cave divers. And he just said, you just look at the silt. If they went in a tunnel, there's 5 options. No silt, no silt, silt, no silt, no silt. I wonder where they went. Just going to the silt. Now, obviously, you're going in on 0 visibility potentially, especially if they were flutter kicking, not cave divers. But at least you know where to go. So in this case, MrBallen's saying like, well, it was like a Swiss cheese. There were so many different tunnels. If there was silt, which for most caves, that's the case, just look at the tunnels with silt. Now, if hours have gone by, there's a chance the silt had settled and then they all look crystal clear. But for the buddies that decided to leave and call for rescue, if they look really quick, I just follow the silt. And that's something you learn also on the lost body procedures. Look around to see if you see silt or something somewhere. Well, that's where they went. They're not going to go where there's clear, perfect water and then this silt magically appeared. Just go into the silt. They're going to be there, right?
Yep.
We're terminating the search. Peter's friends are devastated and they say, hey, can you let us go down and look for Peter's body for his family? And the police said, no, we're banning diving in this cave.
Dang.
6 weeks after Peter went missing inside of this lake, a group of dry cavers were doing some work in a chamber that was right next to this underground lake. And they were chiseling this wall when all of a sudden the wall kind of collapsed, revealing another chamber on the other side of this wall. They took their flashlight out and they looked inside, and it looked like a tunnel that kind of weaved around the corner. And they shined their light on the ground, and it looked like there were some muddy or sandy footprints that were left, as if someone had been walking right there. The cavers were initially terrified, the idea that there's anything living behind the walls inside of a cave. But they stepped over and they walked around the corner, and it revealed this huge air pocket that clearly was connected to the underground lake. because there was water right in the middle of this air pocket and there was no other way in besides, this wall that's collapsed. And in the middle of the water, there was this island. It was like this sandy, muddy, rocky island right in the middle of this air pocket. And laying on the island was Peter. In a stroke of luck, after Peter went missing from his dive, he had discovered this air pocket and he had surfaced and climbed onto this island. He knew he didn't have enough air in his air tank to get to the surface again. And so he figured, okay, I'll just sit on this island. There seems to be enough air in here for me. I'll wait until my dive buddies invariably go get help and come down here and rescue me. He sat inside of that air pocket for 3 weeks waiting for a rescue that never arrived. Before he ultimately died of starvation, he wrote a message in the sand to his mother and to his wife telling them that he loved them. To this day, diving is still prohibited inside of Sterkfontein Cave.
I wonder why.
Sometimes the authorities just stop it and that's it.
Man.
For whatever reasons they have.
But he did the right thing, which is I'm going to wait to be rescued, but the cops came and said nobody's allowed to dive. How dangerous is this cave that they said no more diving? Banned forever. Like, we've been in caves that are dangerous, like Eagle's Nest. Well, all caves are dangerous. Let's just put it that way. But Eagle's Nest, a lot of people have died at Eagle's Nest, and it's still, you can still dive there. They haven't shut it down,
They've talked about it.
Even though a lot of people have died.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
really tough.
It's just totally subjective. It's their discretion. And if the state one day just says we've had enough deaths in this area, we're not going to deal with it anymore. I don't know if there's anybody that can challenge that.
They could have found this guy. By the way, I just wanted to add, not that this is relevant to Peter, although I think it could have made a difference, is that we also, during cave diving training, in addition to lost buddy procedures, you learn lost line procedures. So if you are yourself the lost buddy, if you are yourself swimming away from the line and then turn around and say, oh, where's the line? Then you are taught how to find the line back. So you learn, so it's from both ways. So your lost buddy should trigger their lost line procedure to try to go back and find the line, while you, as the people at the guideline, do the lost body procedure, and hopefully you either run into each other or they find the line and go and find you, or go to the exit and then you will get out and find them at the exit, or you've run into them. Something will happen, because the other thing that could happen is that you don't find the body, but you found their line, because as the lost line procedure is you tie a line on a rock, wherever you are, and then you swim away to try to find your line. So if I'm looking for my body, maybe I don't find them, but I find their line tied on a rock. Oh, let me follow that line and find my body. So there are several ways in which this could have ended up in a different outcome, I'll just say. But it doesn't look like he was very experienced. I do doubt that. I mean, it sounded like he was a cave diver. He was certified, but MrBallen's said he only had one tank. That's just not a thing in cave diving. We always have redundancy. No matter what, whether you're diving open circuit or rebreathers the way you and I dive, we have redundancy. So one tank of air doesn't sound right. Unless this guy wasn't a cave diver and then he just went in with a single tank.
That's what it sounds like.
But that's terrible. Now, you could say that this guy could have been saved or prevented this loss of life if he just tethered himself to the line. And we've talked about this ad nauseum. We even went and tethered ourselves to the line. And in case you haven't seen that, I'm going to leave it right here. We talk about why that's the dumbest idea.
Pro tip, it doesn't work. Bye, everybody.